The moat that stopped a suburban tyrant. If entitlement could drive, it would be the black Cadillac SUV parked across my driveway like it owned the place. My neighbor, Karen, called it a temporary necessity. I called it an invasion. So, I did what any reasonable, slightly fed-up homeowner would do. I got creative with landscaping. Think water, a touch of engineering, and a whole lot of justice. Did I go overboard? Or was it just enough? Stick around, because this story of a driveway dispute turned suburban showdown is packed with twists, sabotage, and a finale that'll leave you cheering or debating. My name's Tom Whitaker, a 52-year-old community college instructor teaching robotics and mechanical design in the quiet suburb of Oakwood Lane, somewhere in the heart of American suburbia. Life was simple. Teach my classes, tinker in my garage, and keep my lawn trimmed to avoid HOA complaints. That is, until Karen Mitchell, the self-appointed queen of our homeowners association, decided my driveway was her personal parking lot. What started as a minor annoyance snowballed into a battle of wills, complete with bylaws, vandalism, and a mini moat that became the talk of the town. It all began on a crisp April morning. I was backing my trusty Toyota Camry out of the garage to head to work when I nearly crashed into Karen's gleaming Cadillac, parked dead center across my driveway. Not angled by mistake, perfectly positioned to block my garage door. I sat there, engine idling, staring at this monument to audacity. I marched across the street to Karen's oversized colonial, which I'd nicknamed the Palace of Privilege, and rang the bell. She answered in designer workout gear, her smile as cold as a January wind. "It's just for my garden club delivery," she said, waving a manicured hand. "UPS is dropping off some planters. I'll move it in an hour." "Relax." "An hour?" "I had a lecture in 30 minutes. "Karen, I need to leave now," I said, keeping my tone civil. Her smile tightened, and I saw the glint of steel in her eyes. "Tom, as HOA president, I oversee this entire street. One morning won't kill you." She paused, then added, "It's not like you're rushing to a board meeting in that car." The door clicked shut, and I was dismissed. That evening, I dug into the HOA handbook like it was a treasure map. 25 pages of fine print, but not a single line gave Karen the right to commandeer my driveway. In fact, Section 14 explicitly prohibited blocking private property access. I highlighted it in neon green and started snapping photos every time her SUV appeared. Over the next week, my driveway became Karen's private valet zone, garden club lunches, HOA meetings, even a neighborhood beautification brunch. Each time, she'd flash that smug grin, as if I should thank her for the inconvenience. "Rules are flexible," she said one morning, sipping rose at 10 a.m. While her guests giggled. "Why don't you park on the street, Tom? The exercise will do you good." That's when I took my first photo. Her Cadillac, my garage door, trapped behind it. Karen noticed and leaned against her porch railing like a movie star. "Pictures, Tom? That's cute." In some places, that's called harassment. The threat hung in the air, but I wasn't backing down. Things got uglier the following week during her community enhancement barbecue. 6 cars turned my driveway into a parking lot. I couldn't see my garage through the sea of SUVs. When I confronted her, Karen was holding court by her pool, martini in hand, her sundress screaming money. "It's one afternoon, Tom," she said, loud enough for her guests to hear. "Live a little. That little Toyota isn't going anywhere exciting." Her friends laughed, and I realized this wasn't about parking, it was about power. That night, I grabbed my sketch pad, the one I use for designing robotics projects, and started planning. Not lesson plan, something far more satisfying. "I'm drawing your downfall, Karen," I muttered, sketching furiously. The next morning, I consulted my colleague, Ellen Harper, a history professor who'd navigated HOA drama for decades. "Hypothetically," I said, showing her my photos, "what would you do if someone kept parking on your property?" Ellen grinned like a fox spotting a hen house. "Tom, I'd build a trap they'd never forget, something with water." By Monday, I was up at dawn installing a no parking sign. Heavy-duty aluminum, reflective lettering, citing City Ordinance 421D. I'd called the city to confirm every detail. This sign was more legit than Karen's authority. I texted her a photo with a polite message. "Hey, Karen, install the sign to clarify parking rules. City Ordinance protects private driveways. Hope this helps." I CC'd the HOA board for good measure. Her reply came fast. That sign's an eyesore, Tom. We'll discuss it at the next meeting. Predictably, her Cadillac rolled right up to the sign the next day, bumper kissing the post. She climbed out in a blazer sharp enough to slice bread, grabbed a casserole dish, and strutted off without a glance. Her guests followed, parking wherever they pleased, trampling my flower beds. My poor azaleas looked like they'd been run over by a tank. I set up 8 neon orange traffic cones to mark my property line, creating a fortress of clarity. My neighbor, Frank Dawson, a retired electrician, watched from his porch. Building an army, Tom? He called, chuckling. Something like that, I replied. Wednesday morning, I woke to find my cones scattered like confetti some in the gutter, others stacked mockingly on Karen's lawn. Taped to my door was a violation notice, printed in red ink that screamed Karen's home office. My cones were unsightly and had to go within 72 hours or face fines. Fury boiled in my chest, but Ellen's words echoed. Think bigger. Over lunch, she showed me an online forum thread about HOA revenge. One story stopped me cold. A guy in Oregon built a legal moat around his driveway, stopping his HOA bully cold. A moat. The idea hit like a thunderbolt. That evening, I called Frank. Hypothetically, how hard is it to dig an 18-inch trench across my driveway? His laugh rumbled through the phone. A weekend's work with the right tools. You free Saturday. But first, I had a quicker fix. I ordered retractable steel bollards, the kind used at fancy car dealerships, remote-controlled and city-approved as decorative fixtures. They arrived just as Karen drove by. I waved cheerily. New yard art, Karen. Her glare could have melted steel. Frank helped me install them, and testing them was pure joy. Press a button, and 3 bollards rose like sentinels. Press again, and they vanished. It's like a drawbridge, I told Frank. Question is, he replied, what happens when the dragon crosses? We found out that night during Karen's spring fundraiser gala. Her Cadillac approached my driveway, and I hit the remote. The bollard shot up, stopping her dead. Through her windshield, I saw her face cycle from confusion to rage. She stormed to my door in a dress worth my mortgage payment, heels clicking like gunfire. What is this, Tom? She shrieked, waving at the bollards. This is vandalism. They're decorative, Karen, I said calmly. Legal per city code. The street's open for parking. She demanded I lower them, claiming her status as aesthetic guardian of Oakwood Lane. I held firm, and she stormed off, promising an HOA showdown. The next day, another violation notice appeared, calling my bollards obstructions to harmony. But I'd found a gem in the HOA rules. Section 19B encouraged decorative water features, like ponds or fountains. Or moats. I highlighted it and called Frank. We're digging Saturday. Frank arrived at dawn with trenching tools and a grin. Ready to make history, Tom? By noon, we'd carved a trench across my driveway entrance. I handled the technical side depth, drainage, waterproof liner while Frank dug like a man on a mission. A neighbor brought lemonade, assuming we were building a fountain. Something like that, I said. By Sunday, the moat was done, a shimmering trench with koi fish, bordered by stones, and a motorized steel bridge Frank engineered. When down, it allowed access. When up, it was Fort Knox. Karen's first encounter was cinematic. Tuesday evening, her Cadillac rolled up for her investment club potluck. I watched from my window as she slammed on the brakes, jaw dropping at the moat. She leapt out in a sequined dress, screaming, "This is insane." I stepped outside, hand on the bridge controls. It's a water feature, Karen, per HOA Section 19B. The scene was pure drama. Karen on one side, me on the other, koi swimming between us. Neighbors filmed, and when Karen threw one of my old signs into the moat, splashing her dress, the crowd clapped. Her live stream rant dripping wet, railing about hazards, only made her look worse. The next morning, a city inspector, prompted by Karen's complaints, approved the moat. Creative landscaping, he said. Ellen showed me Karen's meltdown going viral on HOA watchdog pages. But the real blow came Wednesday night. I woke to a grinding, noisy bridge motor dying. Outside, I caught Karen, dressed like a ninja, jamming the mechanism with a wrench. My security cameras had it all. At the HOA meeting, Karen played the victim, calling my moat a lawsuit waiting to happen. I countered with the footage. The room gasped as Karen's vandalism played in HD. Ellen and I then dropped the bombshell. Karen had embezzled $30,000 from community funds for her home upgrades deck, security system, driveway cleaning. The evidence was ironclad. The crowd turned on her, demanding her removal. An elderly neighbor suggested police involvement, and Karen fled the meeting, her empire in ruins. The final twist came from Frank's cousin, a realtor. Karen's house was in foreclosure, set for auction. I'd saved enough from teaching to bid. Thursday morning, I watched a moving truck pull up to Karen's house. She emerged, defeated, and begged me to lower the bridge for her movers. "Actually, Karen," I said, "I bought your house yesterday. Cash offer. You're my tenant now." A woman stepped forward. Lisa Carter, my old college classmate, now the leasing agent. "Full circle, Tom," she said, grinning. Karen's face collapsed. Frank handed me the deed, and neighbors cheered. The movers asked me where to park, ignoring Karen. As the truck drove off, taking her reign with it, Oakwood Lane felt free. That evening, I sat on my porch, Moat glowing under LED lights, sipping a beer with Frank. The house across the street, once Karen's throne, was mine. Neighbors suggested naming the Moat Mitchell Line, a nod to the boundary it enforced. The story went viral, dubbed the greatest HOA takedown ever. It wasn't just about parking, it was about respect, consequences, and standing up to bullies. As the bridge rose one last time, koi circling below, I knew some problems don't need compromise. Sometimes, you dig a moat, add fish, and let justice swim free. What do you think? Was my moat a stroke of genius or a step too far? Have you faced a bully like Karen, in your neighborhood or beyond? Share your thoughts in the comments, especially on how we handle entitlement and injustice in our lives. Take a stand, tell your story, and let's keep this conversation going.